Hello and welcome back to another episode of Coaching Conversations. Today we're discussing what questions you absolutely must ask when you're qualifying your prospects over the phone. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Coaching Conversations with Nick and Chris. I hope you are amazing today. Nick, how are you feeling today?
I'm doing very well. Had a pretty good weekend, which was awesome. Got together for some Japanese grilling on Saturday night with the hibachi, and then the Korean barbecue. So it was mixed Japanese Korean, but it was yummy in my tummy.
I think they call that fusion.
It's a fusion. That's the one. Perfect.
The two cuisines.
A fusion.
Combined.
So I could put up the prices like you wouldn't believe for the same
That's right.
stuff.
Yeah. Fusion at the Basala restaurant.
Bistro. At the bistro, yeah. And we were looking water views over the pool.
Oh, very good.
There you go.
Very good. The kids are giving kids with the food service, maybe?
I like it. They're at the age now where it's child labor. So
excellent. Very good. Of which we don't condone it up.
We don't condone it, yeah.
Unless they're family.
Yeah, exactly.
Today, we're discussing the questions that you absolutely should be asking your prospects when you're speaking to them over the phone. Just recently, I've had a few strategy calls with some builders and people in the construction industry, and they have had a bugbear around going out to do site visits and speaking to people that aren't necessarily qualified for them. And they're really just kicking a lot of tires and spending a lot of time, even quoting to some extent, for people that aren't necessarily their clients. So, Nick, I want to draw on your experience today, and I want you to share with everyone that's listening and watching this. You've spent a lot of time on the phone, and I know you still do for UpCoach. You are qualifying, at least a dozen people a week over the phone, just asking them some questions to determine whether they're our client or our type of client at UpCoach, and to determine whether we can help them or not and provide them with some advice on the way through. So if you can kind of share with us some of your wisdom, what are some of the keys, the tools, the advice that people need to get better results when they're speaking to prospects over the phone?
Yeah, this is a really good topic. I love the sales topics. I think they're important. And I think for any business owner, getting good at this makes a difference at the end of the day, So it saves a lot of time, so that's important to know. First of all, I think what you really need to look at to start with is what's the quality of the lead that you're about to speak to. So this kind of starts, qualifying them within your marketing component of the sales and marketing timeline, if you want to think about it like that.
Right.
This is where a lot of businesses fall over. A lot of businesses will advertise, and it sort of allows everybody that's unqualified to get to the ad. I'm a lounge suite, I sell lounges. Hey, we've got 3, cheap lounges. Come and check out this lounge. Normally $5,999 today, for this weekend only, it's $2,999, right? So all of a sudden, it's going to attract all of these people that, we didn't normally buy the $5,999 lounge from you. And, let's think about it as an avatar, if you want to call it that. And it's going to bring all of these people that are going to be, tight asses, right? Now, in saying that, it's probably going to bring the people that are going to buy the $5,999, like lounge anyway, and they want to bargain, which is cool. But you've also got to say, in your qualification, when you're marketing, can you ask the question there? And ultimately, you don't even need to ask a question. And let me give you an example. You could say, let's say our coaching is tailored for businesses that are $1 million in turnover and up, or, have been, together for a minimum of 5 years trading profitably as a business. So all of a sudden, just that statement there gets rid of everybody that's under $1 million, or gets rid of everybody that's startup, no money, the people that aren't our target audience. So, so that's really important. So you've got to think if there's sort of sections here, and I've sort of broken it down into some sections, just think the pre-sale section, which is the qualification component in marketing, needs to have something there that's already pre-qualifying your client. That's important. And You could think about it, when you see, I mean, something that's relevant today, everybody's kind of advertising the jab, go get the jab, go get the jab, you win stuff, you get the free bank account, you get all of this shit. And when you think about it, it's kind of set up in a way where it says, if you still haven't had the jab and you qualify to get the jab, you can go and get the jab. Now, that's already eliminating 95% of people that have got it. So do you see? So people aren't rocking up on the phone. Hey, I just heard that you could open up an account here if I get the jab. It's like, you've already got it. Sort of qualify. Right. You see what I mean? Like, it's a simple level of who do you want to let in behind the velvet rope. That's kind of the best analogy for that.
Right.
To start with.
Okay, good. So that's before you get on the phone.
That's even before you get on the phone.
Good.
Because a lot of the times business owners are wasting a hell of a lot of time with people that shouldn't technically even be a part of the conversation, to be brutally honest.
Yes.
If you're trying to sell $100,000 product, but people don't have the 100 grand, I mean, what? You've already wasted a big chunk of your time right there, right? Because they just don't have it. And it's not to say that it's their fault. It's just maybe they can't afford it. So you've got to think about it and go, well, am I going to, kind of go that way, or do I attract the people that have got that? And I'm going to talk a bit about that, so.
Okay, great. Cool. Here's a question. If we're not calling other people, if we're in an instance where people call us, say, you said $100,000 product, could be a small renovations builder or something. What about inquiries that we're getting over the phone? Like, are you going to jump? I'm guessing you might even be speaking about this in a second.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's just get to the point that you've got then, because
here's where you start. Number one, you've got to find out what's their need. What's your inquiries need. That should be your first question, because you've got to kind of understand, can we kind of connect in a way where we're able to help you with your need. As an example, with us, some people, I speak to go, hey, the only thing I really need is I need, some more carpenters. I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm not a recruitment company. We're a coaching company, So, they still need help. And I ask them, is that it? And then they're like, oh no, well, do you need help with direction, management, marketing, all of these? Yeah, but I really need some carpenters. I'm like, that's cool. Well, we can get somebody to look after the carpenters for you, but here's what we do. So understanding your client's need is the beginning, because if you cannot help them, like we've had some people that go, oh, can you get us funding? We need, $500,000 of funding because, it's a new business and it's, we've got a really cool product. And I'm like, new business, new product, haven't had really much trading. You're severely going downhill to start with. So the answer is probably not. Like it's going to be too difficult to be able to, get any money for someone like that. So automatically we've stopped at that need. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm probably not the right person for you. I don't think I can help you with your need. Sure. So it's a go, no go scenario. So I think, flight command for Apollo 11's go, no go, right? You've got to go straight away. It's go, no go, right? Sorry, I can't help you with that need, or go, yes, I can help you with that need. So I think first tick that switches up, let's go. Right. And this is before, we're going to launch, which is kind of the close the sale part of it.
Okay, cool. So, well, that's good. So identify the need. That's really important. And you can do that through literally after the first name question, how can I help? What's the point? What's the scope of works that you're wanting to build? What sort of product are you after from selling a product? Okay, great. So identify the need. That's good.
Yeah, identify the need. Step 2, I think, is when do you want it by? So you've identified kind of what they want, and now it's the time. Because if they say, I want to build my home, I'm just inquiring for a home, or I don't know, I'm thinking of buying, I'm thinking of replacing carpets, or thinking of buying a car, but hey, I'm sort of thinking now, maybe next 3 years. You're like, well, you're asking now for 3 years. Now, I mean, if you're building spacecraft, well, maybe that's kind of the time frame, or submarines, or ships or whatever. I'm like, well, they need to have those time frames, because you don't buy an ocean liner the next day. It takes time.
They don't have a showroom where you.
They don't have a showroom. 5-year project, so
Yeah.
you need to inquire now. Hey, we're thinking of getting it commissioned in 5 years. They're like, oh, you're right on time. So
Yeah.
you've kind of got to, like it's a bit like that, right? So,
Yeah.
we need to be in a position, in a way to find out when's the time. And in some cases, some people are unrealistic with time. Hey, I need a new bathroom. Today's November. When do you need it done? Oh, the people coming over for Christmas. I've got the family done. Like it's 6 weeks away. Like, well, it's, by the time we book in, I've got 6 other jobs on. It's materials, all that. So time is another great qualifier, right? It just eliminates the go, no go once again. Yes, I can do it. No, I don't think so. I'd love to, but unfortunately, either they have to readjust their time or, they're going to move on to somebody else. So time is very important.
Okay, good. Quick intercepted question here, because this plays on the mind of a lot of business owners. I guess it's that idea in their mind that by saying no, they're causing harm to their brand and their business. It's that little, and I see this a lot with tradies that are progressing from the tools to becoming more management focused. They're too adept to saying yes to people over the phone or to leads. People are wanting to go to them that definitely isn't qualified for them. And they just have the inability to say no. So how do you, I guess, I know it's an extra thing, but how do you combat that? Or is it just...
look, first of all, I think that's a very relevant observation. The reason why we don't like to say no is, first of all, everybody goes, I can make money out of it, right? And number two, you go, well, I don't like pushing people away because I'll get a bit of a reputation for that. So there's those two things there that need to be, kind of understood and gone with. But I think the big thing there, it's kind of a mindset to be able to go, if you say yes to somebody and then you can't deliver on time, is that going to be worse for your brand? And, we've got some clients at the moment that are going through that. They're having to give, deposits back, and they're going to, they're getting a bit of a bad name from that perspective. Client's not happy, and no word gets around. And this is, they've taken on board clients, and then they've had a bit of an exodus from, people leaving them for one shape or another. And, we've had some errors done by, all of this stuff. So I think it's, like there's sometimes there's more damage in saying yes than there is in saying no, to be brutally honest. So I think you've got to get used to it. And I think it also comes from a point of not being scared, because if you think that there's no opportunities for you, you're probably thinking wrong, right? There's plenty of opportunity, once you get the inquiry rate. Now, if you're a business that doesn't have much inquiry and there's not much opportunity, I'm like, okay, cool, fair enough. I understand that. And, that's why maybe you're feeling a little bit, a little bit scared for it. But if you really think about it, whatever you put out is what you get in. So if that's what you're sending out, to the universe, are going, I'm thinking scarcity rather than abundance, you're probably only going to get more scarcity rather than abundance come back to you. So,
Agreed.
Okay, good. It's kind of, I suppose that's a topic in itself that we.
I was going to say it's probably an offshoot topic there, but I think that's definitely a consideration for people that are thinking, well, I'm trying to qualify these people, but I hate saying no, or it's hard for me to say no. So, I think you're right, really qualifying who it is that you want to work with, and saying yes can be more detrimental to your brand than sometimes saying no.
Yeah.
So we'll segue back in to the points that you were speaking about. What's the third point that you wanted to roll out?
Yeah. So then the third point I've got, are there any special sort of requirements? And what I mean by that is, let's say, as an example, you're a builder. Well, you've got a third party that's usually called a council or a private certifier to do stuff, and you want to be able to understand it. If it's health, as an example, if you're in health and you need to ask some pre-qualification questions. Maybe it could be things like if you're doing a procedure or something like that, or that's what your company does. Maybe then there's some questions around, did I qualify for that, or did I need to go away and get it done? I need to do 4 tests, and I need to have a pre-procedure before. Like it's all of these sort of areas that you need to look at. Is there a third party involved in the special requirement? Can you Yeah, like with me, I'm doing a renovation, for in the back of the home, and I've had to go through, architect, engineer, structural engineer, planner, all of these things to be able to get it through to council. And right now it's in council, 2 weeks out to the public to make sure it's all cool. I could have gone private certifier, either which way, but this week it should be done. But it's first of all, it's a $10,000 operation just to do that, just to get it to the stage of, yep, thumbs up so you can build, right? So there's all of these pre-qualifications. So me engaging a builder 5 months ago is probably not the way. Do you see? They asked, have you got it all approved? Have you got, like, is council cool with it? Because you can't put a shovel in the ground, or, you can, but it's not going to end up well for you if you don't do it. So is there, once again, are there any special requirements that you need when you sell your product? Very, very important.
Right. Good. Yeah, I think that's a good one, because that can be sometimes the hurdle that slows people down. What about the question around finance if you sell big ticket items? So sometimes the bank is that, unless you've got.
Well, it's funny. Yeah, the next part I was going to talk about is exactly that. It's finance and pricing. What I've learned through doing so much sales, and obviously with our client, and we're a high end sale, right? Compared to somebody selling pens, right? You've got to really find out, first of all, in the qualification question. Let's say if you're doing something like me as a reno, well, it's a $150,000-$200,000 operation. You can't buy it with peanuts. So one of those things, if I was a builder, I'd be asking me, hey, have you got your finance sorted? Are you good to go? So when we get building, we're good. And if I said no, we got to, well, we'll see how we go, and then I don't know, well, how are you going to pay for it, right? And if that's already a bit of a red flag, that's kind of a go, no go. It's almost no go if they don't have the council done all the money. Like, you're just wasting your time. But it's somebody that's already got the plans, they've got the councils done, the finances are ready to go, sitting in the account. Well, that's a go, right? It's easy. So that finance is definitely a qualification question, and you just need to ask it, and an easy way to do it, let's say, I don't know, like if you're selling lounge suites, is to go, well, how will you be paying for that? Would that be sort of cash, or do we need to get finance for you under, those easy term type finances, or will you be paying by credit card? So it's a subtle way of going, have you got your money, without making people feel embarrassed, So how would you, if we're good to go, how would you be paying for it, just so I can make the invoice out accordingly, maybe save you some GST or whatever it may be, like, from that part. I think the other qualification along the part of finance is price. So are you aware of what the price is? And, usually I like to kind of change price or cost to an investment, because in our case, it is an investment. But, I also like to be straight up and say, well, there's it's an investment, but ultimately it needs to come somewhere. So technically it's still a business cost, and what I've found, not long ago, probably a year and a half ago, I used to kind of wait until the end to show value, and then hit them with the price, and then it's all cool. But what I found is sometimes you go through all of that stuff, and because you haven't disclosed how much it's going to be, the preconception of what people are thinking versus what the reality is of what you're going to be wanting or charge for are two different things. So if they're thinking, as an example, the coaching is going to be 10 grand for the year, and we're 40 or 50 grand for the year, you're like 4x kind of difference, and you've gone through all of that, and they're not even in the league. So today I actually encourage people literally on the first call, when I've only been with them for 15 minutes. And a lot of times, probably 50% of people will ask me then, or the next 50 will tell me on the first strategy call. So, or ask me, or I'll tell them, hey, just so you know, for our next steps, it's this much, and it's this much per month. Are you cool with that? And once again, that comes back to the pre-qualification and the marketing, saying if I was working with a $100,000 business owner that turns over 100 grand at 20%, it's 20 grand, and we're 50 grand, as an example, if they were going to work with me, or 60 grand and above, there's no chance. I'm costing 3 times more than what they're making. So it's the wrong person. Now, if we were $5,000 and they were making 20 grand, well, maybe they'd think about it, but that's still 25% of their annual gross profit, so it's a question mark once again, so what, you've got to kind of disclose these things. Now, you don't want to go straight away. How do you know how much it is? Hi, it's Nick here from UpCoach. How do you know how much our coaching is? No, like I said, you need to find out what their need is, what's their time frame, what special requirements they have, and our special requirements is, is it going to be you or is it the team, and what are the goals that you're after? What are the problems that we can help you solve? What's the most urgent? If they go, hey, the tax department, 500 grand, and I'm running out of work, I've only got 1 week's worth, and I've got a big team and the wages are 100 grand a week, I'm like, that's a flag. Doesn't matter what price I tell them, but they need to get their finances in order before we start. So once again, by the way, I need to sort of, share this because it's sort of just popped in my head. Very rarely are you going to convert every single conversation into a client. That's another big error businesses make. I got all of these leads, I should be set. And then when I don't convert like 1/4 of them, they're freaking out going, I thought I had some business is no good. I'm like, if you do 10% on cold traffic, which means, no one, they didn't know you, they've inquired, you've started a conversation. If you do 10% and above, you've killed it. 10% and above, you've killed it.
There we go.
Think, it's 80%. I'm like, no one does 80%. Not everybody that goes to buy a Tesla buys a Tesla.
Yeah, that's right.
Even though they're a cool car and they're, it's Elon Musk, and I think for electric cars they look the best and they're the coolest, but not everybody buys it.
Yeah, I think that's a metric that people should be writing down right now, because sometimes when people start coaching, part of our process is we pre-frame the idea around conversion rate and get ready. Sales is a game of numbers, and we're going to have to go through a few of these inquiries, our qualified ones, by the way, before we get to a conversion. And realigning people's expectations around this gives them the bigger picture to go, right, okay, so I need to, it's not 8 out of 10 that I'm going to convert. No, sir.
Well, I mean, you said something to me. You said something to me once, Chris, when you had the restaurant, and I think you said, I think it's 30% or less of people have dessert with their meal or something like that, right?
Something like that time, yeah.
It was really low, right? Like it's, but you'd think they're already seated, they've had a drink, maybe or 2 or 3 or whatever, they've had an entree, they've had main meal, and you think, well, since they've had those 2, everybody's going to have a dessert, but they don't. And that's already a highly qualified lead when you really think about it. They're already consuming your product. Yeah. And it's the same as people going, they're going to rebuy off me again, or they're going to, upsell, or they're going to refer. No, not everybody does that. If you get, 1 in 3, you've killed it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think, it's almost like a line in the sand moment for people that are listening to this to go, yeah, right. Okay. What are my question to you, if you're listening right now, is what's your expectation around what your conversion rate is? By the way, if you don't know what your conversion rate is, you should really find that out first, and then work up, north of that. But understanding how many people that you actually need to speak to weekly, monthly, whatever, before you make a sale. Really.
Yeah, because then the qualification questions will change that metric.
Yeah. And then
quality of the qualification question is going to change the metric.
Yeah. It goes all the way back to, who do you want to serve?
Pretty much so. I mean, with us, we've got it down to, literally verbatim. The words that come out of my mouth are verbatim for every client, because I know it works. And we're almost up to 100% conversion from initial call to strat sesh to next steps, almost 100. So
we've been working at that process alone, just so everyone is aware, for over how many?
Over 2 years.
Yeah, there we go. Over 2 years worth of work just to get to the point we're at.
We're still getting it better. Yeah, exactly.
And that's practicing, like, literally, how many strategy calls do you do a week? Like first call?
10 to 12. Our first call is 10 to 12 a week.
There we go. First calls 10 to 12 a week. That's almost 50 a month, guys.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of calls. And if if you're sitting there and you're doing 50 calls a month and you're not converting very well, or you're still speaking to the clients that you don't really want to work with, you're getting a lot of tire kickers, then something is wrong with your sales process or your qualification criteria. By the way, if you need help, reach out to us at askitupcoach.com.au. We will point you in the right direction for that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we get to finances. Is there any other points after that?
Yeah. I've just got two more.
Okay.
That are very relevant. I think another great qualification question is, what do you need to see, hear, or feel to make a decision? Because people think differently. Some people are aesthetic, some people are auditory, some people are just olfactory, right? So you've got to think about it, that how do you connect with the person on how they make kind of decisions to purchase or they don't. Now, for me, I know I was in the automotive industry over 10 years. A car is a touchy-feely type product. Kind of got to sit in it, feel it, drive it, smell it, get a vibe for it. You don't go buy a Lambo without kind of being in one. Like it's a
rev it. There we go.
Rev it. Yeah, exactly. Like so, and that's a very aesthetic type product.
Yeah.
If I'm ordering, I don't know, a phone case, I just go on eBay and go click, click, cool, looks like that, and you got a vibe to it. You know what I mean? It's not a major part. I need to see something. So image quality is important for me to make a decision. And usually, on Amazon, there's 3 million people selling phone cases, but the one that's got kind of the better image for some reason, sells more. And I know the reason, but because it's got a better image, so you think it's a better product, even though the other one's exactly the same, you pay more for it.
Yeah.
It's funny, like over the weekend, I'm buying a little, an air pump to pump up like, the inflatables behind the ski boat and stuff like that, like the tubes and the air things. And we've got electric on already, but I wanted one for the boat, and there's heaps of them. But it's funny, the one that I looked at was like the dearest because it had the best photos on it and all the rest of it, and the other one was like $6 cheaper or whatever. Sort of looked the same, but I'm like, no, I'll go with that one. Like it's just crazy, right? And they're all made out of the same factory, I guarantee you that. So I needed to see that. In some people, they want to hear, and by the way, even stuff where it comes to, medical procedures, you're still getting sold to. I've got to go and do something for my heart again, with a specialist. And, I sat with him, I asked him questions, and I needed him to hear. I needed to hear him going, hey, dude, don't worry, from here till the end when we do it, you're not going to drop dead with that. You're in good shape. We just got to make sure we're cool. And more than likely, I think it'll be cool. You won't have to put another stent in, as an example. I'm like, well, that's kind of something I don't want to hear. So it gave me the confidence to be kind of better. And my traditional, specialist that I normally go to, he was a bit like, short with me on the phone and all of that stuff. Didn't really call me back. And I'm like, hey, dude, like, you've just lost business, because I know how much those things are for the operations.
Right.
14 grand or some ridiculous price.
Yeah.
So even that you're getting sold to. It gives you the confidence versus you don't get the confidence. So that's important. So basically, what do you need to see, hear, and feel to build your confidence to make the decision? Yeah.
Okay. Quick question. What would you recommend if I'm selling a service? So it's kind of there's no tangible thing.
Yeah.
Touch it and feel it like a car.
Yeah. So I mean, we sell services, right? Which is kind of cool. I always think that having third-party testimonials, case studies, results of anything you've done in that service.
Right.
And that could be, as an example, I don't know, even a mechanic, right? You could go, 99% of all our cars have never broken down after we've worked on them. It feels like it's a tangible, but it's actually sort of a non-tangible, because you can't touchy feel it. Changing the oil filter in the car, it's not like you're going to hop under the car, touch the oil filter. You just go, all right, I think they've done the oil filter on the car.
Yeah.
Occasionally you might take, I don't know, even everybody pulls a dipstick out anymore.
I was going to say, you could check that if you wanted. but
yeah, well, now on all the cars, it's all electronic too. Doesn't even have a dipstick. So so there's those sort of parts. But I think, yeah, third party endorsement for that is very good. But once again, in the qualification question, it also needs to be able to say, what is it that you need to see? I need to make sure that, you guys got the results. What is
good
it that you need to hear?
question.
Well, it'd be good to connect with your clients.
It's a good question. What is it that you need to see in order to make a decision to move forward?
Yeah.
Very good. Or hear or
whatever.
Yeah.
Because some people, even with us, we go, hey, here's a list of clients, call them. And some people go, I don't need to. I've already seen enough. Like, okay, you ready to go? Well, I'm ready to go. Okay.
Yep.
Other people, no, I've got to ring all of them.
That's right.
Make sure that it's the end. I need to see your guarantees, and I need to read through the contract, fine tooth comb, and that's cool. That's just how they make decisions.
Yeah, that's right.
So the goal here, by the way, so we know this, I should have mentioned it earlier. Whole goal with any qualification questions is like we said, in the NASA Flight Center, is to have more goes than no goes. All right, that's the whole goal for it. So you've got to kind of adjust the questions in order for them to be cool, but also within those questions, make sure that they address any of the possible objections or the possible I need to know more. Because objections sounds like objection, Your Honor. It's not an objection anymore. It's what do I need to know more about before I make a decision? So,
yeah, good.
Yeah.
Very good. Good. Okay, that's really good. And I think for a lot of people that maybe aren't illustrating enough about their product or service to the client, maybe that could be the difference between sale or no sale. What are you doing to show or tell or illustrate or get them to experience before they buy your product?
Yeah,
it's really important.
And then I got one final one.
Yeah, what's the last one?
Now, so the last question, and you could literally verbatim like this: is there anything stopping you now from making a decision to move forward, to purchase, to come with us, to give us your okay, to whatever it is? Is there anything stopping you now?
Great. This is a closed question.
Something that is, it's like a shotgun point blank. Is there anything stopping you? So we've been through all of this stuff. You said yes for everything, but, and I need to think about it part is they're just telling you, well, maybe somewhere along the lines, you haven't given them enough, love, because now they're still not ready to make a decision.
Yep.
And sometimes you could literally be a bit, I've gotten to the stage where I'm a bit more point blank. I'm like, hey, are you a procrastinator? Is that why your business is where you're at the moment? So I know, oh yeah, I'm the worst person for the business. We just had someone that, just signed up recently that kind of shared that with us.
Yeah.
I'm the guy that needs to, move out of the way. And that was a great observation. Yet they signed up with us. They've trusted us to move forward, and they're good to go because we've obviously shown them enough for them to feel comfortable, and our reputation already stands for itself, but I think it's an important question. Is there anything stopping you from moving ahead now?
Wonderful. And anybody can use that in any industry.
I think
very, very general, I'll say, but general in a good nature.
You don't walk into a Guzman y Gomez, those Mexican tortilla type places.
Yeah.
A burrito. You don't walk in and you have to make a decision for 3 hours and study the menu perfectly.
Some people would.
Yeah, get a.
Is it bowl or burrito today? I'm not sure whether I should.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Get the swab off the counter to see if there's any germ. You just look up at the thing. There's 300 people behind you, and they go, "What do you want?" And that's why they make it easy. Give me number 2 pack.
Yep.
You don't even have to, put the burrito with the drink, with the thing. You go, it's a pack. It's done for me. Give me number 2.
Yep.
And do you want to upsize that? You upsize it. That's it. That's all your decision-making process.
Sure.
Some people, they're studying the menu it's like, we only sell donuts here, man. Which one do you want? Like,
sure.
I've been down at Berry, the donut place down there, and it's kind of world famous. It's this donut place. It's this caravan that's there in Berry. Everyone goes, the line is like, it's like they're selling, the cure for life.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it's savage.
In a donut. That's the best.
And they're those cinnamon oily bad boys, right? You want to hammer down, right? Because they're hot and the liners forget about it. Like the people wouldn't line up like that for books. You know what I mean? It's just like, right. But I've seen some people walk up and they're like, oh, it's like, it's either, I'm like next one, it's either 6 or 12 or 18, man. Like, which one?
That's it. Yeah.
You know, some people are, they're too confused. Do I get the cinnamon? Do I get the other one with the jam? It's like, just go to cinnamon. Like, you know, sometimes you got to be a bit like the soup Nazi, you know, like in Seinfeld, right? So you see, you've got to, once again, that comes from the qualification. Over there, they're letting everybody in because everybody eats donuts. So, but I reckon that after they finish, they're like, oh man, just see that guy with the glasses, man, you 20 minutes to try to, you know. So,
yeah.
You know,
and he's sweating for 45 in the line anyway before he gets to make the call.
Like they're given the cure to extend life.
That's right.
That's how long the line is.
We digress. Okay, cool. So I guess, you know, these are really poignant questions, Nick, that people should be asking. A lot of what you've shared today can be really shared across any industry. It doesn't matter if you've got a mid-range price product or an expensive product, I guess, in value terms. But these questions can be shared across any industry, which I think is really good. And if you're struggling to get better results from your sales process, or it's difficult for you, then maybe these are some of the questions that you should be asking up front when you're first speaking with clients. So can you run through those 7 or 8 again, Nick, from the beginning, please?
Number 1, what's your need? Make sure you can solve that need, help with that need. Number 2, when do you want to buy? Timeline. Number 3, you know, is there any special requirements that need to be a part of it? Number 4, finance and price. You know, have they got their finances right? Do they know the price? Number 5, what do they need to see, hear, or feel?
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one, you know, what's stopping you right now from making the decision to move forward?
Perfect. Have you got any last advice? I have a small piece before I'll hand it to you. I think this truly comes from experience, and you need to practice. And it's time under tension, as we call it. It's something that you're going to have to fine tune by doing it over and over and asking better quality questions and refining. So it does, you know, success takes time, particularly when you're fine tuning your sales process. As we've mentioned, our sales process at UpCoach has been under the microscope for the last 2 years. So it takes time to really start to fine tune those questions to get you quicker results. That's my small golden nugget. Nick, what's your last piece of advice around getting these questions right?
Yeah, look, I think the big part about it, or the big thing that you got to know, is it's all numbers. You know, at the end of the day, the qualification process is for you to be able to chisel out the right people that are going to love purchasing from you, love the experience, be happy with it, and then refer somebody else on, hopefully. That's the goal. You know, it's no use getting anybody through the door that then doesn't like the experience, thinks it's overpriced, hasn't got the money, you know, then tells everybody how bad it was, and, you know, all of those type of things. So the better you get with your qualification numbers, the more predictable you can become. And for us, predictable is good. You know, we know what's coming next month. We know how many sales are going to be this month. And we know it from a point of certainty, from the perspective of, you know, if we keep on doing these numbers, then we're cool. You know, that's kind of where it's at. So
yeah, very good. So knowing those numbers on the way through at every stage is going to be critically important. Thank you so much once again, Nick, for the wisdom today. I think, like I said, the questions that we're asking or you've spoken about today can be shared across any industry and any business. Guys, if you need help with your sales process or qualifying your clients better, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at ask@upcoach.com.au. We'd be happy to give you some advice and maybe provide a strategy session for you if you want. Otherwise, we'll be speaking and seeing you all again on the next episode of Coaching Conversations again next week. So bye now.
Bye for now.